So today's topic is about interrelation between mind, body, and soul of ours. So last week we have already gone through that the four types of, four layers of mind or four types of mind. One was conscious mind, then subconscious mind, then there's unconscious mind or field of all possibilities I was telling. But let us, for the time being, let us stick to that unconscious mind, that terminology. And the fourth one is superconscious mind. So in these four minds, we need to now see what are at those states of mind or those when that layer of mind is active, what is our body doing at that time, and what is that our soul is playing what role at that time. So to do that, I will just first we go into directly go into the summary of the slides. In the morning I did it the reverse. First I explained, then you go to the slide. But now I will give just summary first, then I will explain one by one. So that I have a presentation, I will just put it onto the screen. There are two slides. It's a part of presentation actually, but today I'll show the only two slides. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the states of mind.
No, I can't see.
Achha, let us wait for some time.
So Shreyasi, are you on a iPad, or because it comes in a tiled window on iPad? You have to select that window.
I'm sorry, is that a question for me?
Yeah, I'm asking, are you on an iPad or iPhone? Then it comes in a tiled window. You have to select the other window.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So can you now see the presentation?
I had pinged.
Can you see the presentation now?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Fine, let us move ahead with that one. And see, now in this, there are 2 by 2 the table. The first one is knowledge of I, that means who am I, what I'm doing now and all these questions. If the answer is yes, then we fall into the first column. And sorry, knowledge of I is no, means I don't know who am I, what I'm doing, that this part will be no. So 2 columns, one is knowledge of I is there and knowledge of I is not there. These are 2 columns. And the row wise, there are 2 rows. First row is a knowledge of surroundings. Am I aware of which are the things around me? And if the answer is yes, then we are in the first row. If I'm not aware what is the surroundings, around me, then we come to the second row. So it is a 2 by 2 table. So let us come to the first one. First quadrant is knowledge of I is yes, I know who am I, and knowledge of surroundings is also yes. So in this case, this is called Jagrut Avastha in Sanskrit, or awake state. It is like a normal state when you're talking, walking, doing some work. So all of us right now, we are all in the Jagrut Avastha. So this is called awake state, and it is governed by the conscious mind. Conscious mind is the mind where the thought comes and goes, the thought mind, or it is also known as ego mind. So this is the conscious mind. So currently we are all on in this conscious mind. So what is the indicator? It is, I know who am I, what is my name, where I am, what I am doing right now, where I am sitting, and knowledge of surroundings. It is it is under which room, which is this place, what is the color of the wall, and all these things I am aware. So this is the thing we are at the first quadrant, or we are under the conscious mind. Now it is very easy. I'm not going to detail. So in the conscious mind state, around 60,000 thoughts per day crosses our mind. It's a normal awake state. It is approximately about 1 thought per second. So that many thoughts we think, but most of the thoughts, like 95% of the thoughts, doesn't have any practical value. Means though are not implemented, though are not followed up, and though are not needed to be followed up, and things like that. So each thought carries some kind of energy, needs some kind of energy. So those 95% of energy is wasted, only on the thoughts. Because passing thoughts, these are uncontrolled mind. We cannot control them. I'm talking to the normal people. Whether you like it or not, thought automatically comes in and passes through. And worst part of it is this is uncalled for thought comes and control us. It controls ourselves because from the thought that it triggers the emotion and then we behave some way, we take some action out of it. So that's how our ego controls us in brief. So basically our thought mind, it's controlling us in this way by injecting thoughts which is beyond our control in normal state. To save that kind of energy, which is wasted, as I explained, 95% of the thoughts, it is wastage. So to save that, we need to practice to go into no thought zone, like where the thought cannot take away those kind of energy, then we'll save huge amount of energy. Not only that, if we can able to control our mind, go to no thought zone, then our ego can no longer control us. So that in that sense, we get liberated from the slavery of our ego. But at the same time, it will be our wish. If we need to bring our conscious mind for something, suppose I like to make some travel plan, suppose I need to go to India, I have to go make some travel plan, then I can bring my conscious mind in and then it will work with it, find out the plan, which airlines to go, which is the ticket price, etc., how to pay, which date to go, etc. So those are the conscious mind. I can bring it, but once it is over, I can send it back. I said, thank you, no further, now rest of the time, no need. So we should come to that level of controlling our conscious mind. How we control? Through no thought. To get into the no thought zone. How we can get it through the no thought zone? Simply by practicing meditation. That is a sadhana is all about. To have a control over our so-called monkey mind, so that it doesn't jump on and off on its own, it is come under control. So that is about the play of the conscious mind. Now the second one, which is knowledge of I is there, but knowledge of surrounding is not there. That is called swapnavastha, which is below that. In swapnavastha or dream state, during this dream state, our subconscious mind comes into play. Our conscious mind cannot work because we are sleeping. So what is the difference? We are not aware of our surroundings, like where after sleeping, where I am sleeping, what is the temperature of the room, or is there any light or not, who else is there in the room, and all this kind of information is not available. We are not aware of our surrounding. But knowledge of I is there. In the dream state, you know who you are. You are not confused. Suppose you are seeing a dream of 10 people, you are not confused that which one is you. So knowledge of I is there in your dream state. So it is coming from your subconscious, but knowledge of I is there. So that is how I differentiated between the Jagrut Avastha and Swapna Avastha. And subconscious mind, as I explained last week, it is a reservoir or database of all these experiences we have. All these memories and everything is there in the subconscious mind. So there is a connection between subconscious mind to conscious mind, because this subconscious mind to conscious mind, when we are awake, if we are sleeping, then conscious mind is completely off, only subconscious is working. But in the awake state, conscious mind gets some input from subconscious mind. So there are many types of input possible, and this comes through something called a filter. That filter is also operated by ego. What is that filter? That filter is about some kind of belief system, some kind of fear, some apprehensions. So these are the type of things are the filter. So when something comes from the subconscious mind to conscious mind, when you're in awake state, it already contaminates those our conscious mind with those informations. Suppose we had some fight with one guy. Next time when you see that guy, those memories of fighting comes from our subconscious and contaminate the present conscious mind. So if somebody is completely unknown, will behave in a one way. If somebody, we had some history in the past of some experiences, nothing happened on that day, but will behave differently. The difference in the behavior is because it is coming from subconscious mind through those filters, those informations. So now whoever has walked the spiritual path, they quieten their mind, they learn how to switch off their thought mind or no thought zone. In that way, they don't allow any kind of previous belief system or previous kind of some kind of labeling contaminate the present. So that way they receive everything in pure form. Okay, conscious mind is there, but there is no ego. There is no contamination. There is no filter coming from subconscious, they contaminate it. So they receive everything in the pure form and they deliver. So, and that is called the living in the present moment. So that is purely into the clean conscious mind, so that they are uncontaminated conscious mind that they operate from. Now let me go to the Susupta Avastha, that lowermost corner. So Susupta Avastha, it happens during deep sleep. So I already explained one part of the sleep we don't even dream. So that is the Susupta Avastha, and that is the state of unconscious mind. So this unconscious mind, they come in a deep sleep. So how do I know that it is a sleep with dreams or deep sleep without dream? So in the medical terms, they call it REM, rapid eye movement. During a dream state, if we can video somebody when sleeping, then eye movement becomes the rapid eye movement happens. That eyeball goes up and down. Inside, doesn't come out. The eye doesn't get opened up, but you can feel even if the eyelid is closed, but the eyeball is swinging. So if that happens, then it is the person is dreaming. And when that eyeball becomes standstill, that is the time the deep sleep has happened or Sushupta Avastha has happened, and that is operated by unconscious mind, or it is the absence of everything. So it is unconscious. It is said. Normally, if the people in the deep sleep state, every night we go into this state. People who got into coma because of some accident or something, they also go into deep sleep state. It's unconscious mind. They don't even dream in that state. So that is called deep sleep state. And one characteristic of deep sleep is you completely go out of the time cycle. Means if somebody is deep sleep for 5 hours, it will be felt like a second. Just happened, like they miss all the time. And somebody is in a coma maybe for a few days, and all the days will be missing from that person's life, because there is absolutely no recovery from that. And that is the time we say that unconscious mind is in play. Now let me come about the fourth one, which is called Turiya Avastha. It can happen. The characteristic of that is knowledge of surrounding is yes, but knowledge of I, who am I, is not there. It is a pure meditative state, and it is operated by superconscious mind. Actually, we don't hold the mind, that mind holds us. Like we are experiencing superconscious mind rather than holding it. So the correct terminology is we are experiencing superconscious mind that time. It can also be named as a soul's mind or the higher mind or the higher self, so whatever you call it. So I already explained about the characteristic of superconscious mind. So these can be achieved during meditative state. So knowledge of surrounding is yes. During meditation, you can hear the sounds. You can feel that if air is blowing, you can feel the air is blowing. You can feel the temperature and everything. If something is touching you, you can feel the touch. Everything is there. Only thing is knowledge of I is not there. How come knowledge of I is not there? Because in the true meditative state, our thought stops. Because without stopping the thought, we cannot go into the superconscious zone. So when the thought stops, our ego drops. There's no longer ego. So who am I? That time doesn't matter. That doesn't exist in that pure meditative state. And that's why it is called knowledge of I is not there. So these are the 4 states of mind. To some extent, I just repeated a little bit of what I explained last week. Now, let me come to the next slide, which is, that is only the state of mind what I explained, this state of mind. At that time, what is the state of body and what is the state of soul? So first is about the awake mind, awake state. That time, state of our body is active. We are walking, talking. Right now, whatever you are listening, so watching your mobile or laptop. So you are in active mode. Body is active. All 5 senses are working. And this is, at this state, our soul is witness mode. It is not interfering into the business. This is not interfering into our business because of free will contract. We have a free will to do anything, to say anything, to think anything. Soul will not interfere unless until we request for it. So this is the 3: mind, body, and soul. So mind is awake, state of body is active, and state of the soul is witness. Second state, Swapnavastha. It's a state of the mind is dreaming. It is a Swapnavastha. And state of the body is sleeping. The body is sleeping, that's why we are dreaming. And as I explained, it is operated by subconscious mind. And that time also, our soul is witnessing. This is the reason I mentioned earlier, don't give too much importance on your dream. These are not your spiritual experiences, because at that time, soul is not active. Soul is not, giving an input. So soul's message most likely not coming during dreaming, because soul is still witness mode. Then comes the deep sleep or unconscious or susuptavastha, unconscious mind. State of mind is unconscious. That time body is still sleeping, because there is, as I explained, at this state there is no REM, rapid eye movement. So you are going to unconscious zone. That is the time our soul become active. Body is sleeping. The soul, they leave the physical body and go in the higher dimensions and meet with different other entities and do its own business. Something, suppose the body needs kind of healing. So what is the best way? It can consult and get some kind of thing, bring the tips back to the body and things like that. The many other things it does. It can also visit its past life sometimes, different times, or visit different other dimensions, some places with not human, there are different entities out there, they can meet with them and things like that. So all these things it does, and before you get up, it comes back into the body. So that is the thing, that is this state. So then whatever the soul did, why we don't remember? We don't remember because it doesn't carry our physical brain along with it. So the memory element is not there when it is going into that its own business, when it left the body. When it comes back also, maybe sometime little bit of information spills over, but the whole episode we cannot recover because our mind is unconscious. We cannot get that information. Next, the last one is a state of mind, is Turiya state or superconscious state of mind. And what is the state of the body? At that time, the body is meditating. In this time, the soul is interactive. Okay, it is interacting with our actual brain, physical brain, or you can say the interactive with the conscious mind. Superconscious is interacting with subconscious, conscious mind. So if this is the only state where we can communicate with the higher dimensional elements and higher entities and our own soul's voice, they can, all these things we can interactive at this state. There are many people that never experience this in their life because they don't come out, the fourth state doesn't happen into their life because they never meditate. And even if they meditate, they're never able to achieve no thought zone. So that's why the interactive part of it is not possible or not happened earlier. But there will be a potential, under the guidance of the spiritual guides and gurus, the guide to do that, exactly that. How to meditate and how to come to a level when you can directly communicate with your own soul. And purpose of spirituality is to establish permanent connection with your own soul, which is called inner guru awakening. When the inner guru is awakened, then you lead your life under direct guidance of your soul at every moment. That is the moment of rest of your lives. That is the purpose of spirituality. So to be into that mode when we can understand all the higher knowledges and what soul does, what is soul's plan, what are our past lives, and etc., we need to go into the meditative zone where under the superconscious state you have to touch upon to get that. So that is why it is put that is important. If you are not touching this zone, then we'll not be able to understand what is our soul's plan, what is the soul's knowledge. Soul is, if the soul consciousness is connected with the universal consciousness, and universal consciousness is is the one, the source. So basically, through our soul consciousness is connected with the universal consciousness, and we can get anything, any information, any truth downloadable and the right now, just to have the connection. Only thing, our thought mind should not create any noise. Maybe we are getting the voices from our soul time to time, but because of our internal noise of the thoughts, uncontrolled thoughts in your mind, we don't be able to distinguish between these two. And that is the issue. It is not that the soul is not communicating with us. Maybe trying to communicate, but we are not able to distinguish. You have so much inner noise. Okay. So that is the sadhana is all about, how to calm down the mind, how to stop our thinking mind. Stop means how to bring it under our control. At our will, we say stop, it should stop thinking. At our will, we need that. We have to make some travel plan, bring the thing. So it should be, we should not, most of the people are slave of their thoughts. What you need to do is you have to bring it under you. Like thoughts are, worst master and wonderful servant. So you have to bring it under servant. Because if thought runs you, you will be egoistic. You'll be, that's why most people are doing that. When I say that, many people's, they got hurt. Within bracket, their ego got hurt, basically. So they say it is our thought. How come our thoughts, we are the slave of our thought? Then I said, okay, if you are not slave of your thought, then you just switch off your mind. Tell thought not to come for 15 minutes. Because you are the master, no? Your thought should listen to you. Suppose you say, this is my car. That means car should listen to you. No? If I wanted to take that car into a certain XYZ mall, it should follow my instruction. I am driving. So if it is your thought, you should be in the driving position. You tell not to move. If I want my car will not move now, it will not move. Because I am the owner and the car is my servant. If you cannot do that, that means thoughts are running you. Thoughts are the master. You are not. So this is the misconception, that idea that it is my thought and it is under me. It is just an misconception. If you can do that really, that you can really switch off the mind, no thought, you are the master already. You don't need kriya, don't need meditation and all this sadhana. You are there. You don't need any such practices. But if you cannot, that is what to do. Then you are a work in progress till you achieve that. It is a skill. It can be achieved. And that is how the masters, they are guiding how to do that. Different masters give a different technique, but ultimate purpose is how to control your ego mind so that you can communicate with your higher self. Once the communication is established, inner guru is awakened, the external guide and guru, they go away and you lead your own life independently. Lead a life of freedom. And inner guru is your best guru possible. So that is what the sadhana is all about, to establish the direct communication with your own soul consciousness. All right, I will stop here. So if you have any question, you unmute and please ask the question. Yes, Basant Bhai?
Rajdeep bhai, in the grid that you showed, mind was awake. How about when you are awake, but your mind is in the witness mode? Does it fall in the Turiya state, or is still active? But like you just said, you summon the mind when you want to. In that, and insights come. So, where would you position that in the grid that you just showed us?
Okay. No, it's a good question. See, in the witness mode also, thought has not stopped yet. You are in conscious mode. Okay, you are in a transition. That is the way to ultimately thought will be, coming from say 200 to 10 to 2 and then 0, but you have not reached 0 yet. When you witness, random thoughts comes into the number of thoughts per minute comes down, but it is still, thoughts are moving. No? So you are in a conscious zone. You have not come down to the no thought zone completely. So that is the witness, but witness is the way to go into that superconscious.
Understand. And then on the state of mind, Rajdeep bhai, this is the second question, or option that you showed. Where does samadhi fall? Is it the Turiya? Is what you call a samadhi?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. When you are 100% thoughtless, you are in a samadhi.
Okay.
The difference between the samadhi and deep sleep, okay, unconscious state or coma state, is samadhi, you are fully aware of your surroundings. You are fully aware. If somebody talks, even you will hear louder. Okay, so that is the samadhi state when 100% thought stops. Okay, so that is called samadhi.
Thank you, Rajdeep bhai.
God bless you. Yes, Shaival?
Yeah, Rajdeep, I like Vasant's question, first question, to piggybacking on the first question. I was thinking, for example, in the witness mode, I'm witnessing Rajdeep as RPA is giving instruction to Shaival, right? Shaival is listening carefully or otherwise. So is it the shift of Shaival to the witness is the way to go towards that level, that Shaival slowly becomes a witness?
Yes, but the witness consciousness has been developed just to disconnect, detach from your ego mind. That's why it is a first step, but it is not the last. The reason I told, Vasant, answering his question, that you have not reached that state yet, because superconscious mind cannot possible, when experiencing of that is not possible, even maybe when temporarily possible, I'm saying permanently in the superconscious state is not possible as long as trio is there. Trio, I explained earlier, a few weeks back.
Yeah.
That is the witness, witnesser, the object of witness, and process of witnessing, these three things. When these three things drop, only then you become directly connected. Then you go to the superconscious state. But as long as trio is there, you have not gone there.
Right.
That's why I answered, you are still in the conscious. It is better. It is better than completely ignorantly going under the ego. That's definitely better. You have some control. But job has not completed yet, because your trio need to get dissolved.
Eventually the witness will has to go
Drop.
away.
Yeah, it will drop by its own and nothing is there. Then pure awareness takes over. Pure awareness. It doesn't need anyone to witness.
Okay.
Okay, any kind of experiences, that becomes your anubhuti. Anubhuti is experience without experiencer. It is a pure experience. Okay, unless until you reach to that state, superconscious thing has not reached yet. Your I consciousness has not dropped fully. Okay,
I'm just switching between I and the witness.
No, it is good. You have to do that because you need to detach from your ego mind. So where do you stay? But remember that is a temporary platform. That platform has to also go.
Okay.
Okay, to go into the infinite zone. You are in a higher pedestal, but the flight didn't take off yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you have to drop the land completely. You know, when you are, then you go take the flight and high up. Then it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
God bless you.